In the previous video, we saw how to add a map to your app, and we had a quick look at the code that made the map work. In this video, we'll be taking that further and we'll see not only how to customize the starting point, zoom level, and markers on the app, but also how to add different sorts of maps, such as ones involving satellite imagery. So let's get cracking. We're doing all our coding here in the mapsactivity.java file, which we looked at in the previous video. And we're going to start by creating a new location to center our map on. Now, you may not know the latitude and longitude of any particular location, so I'd recommend jumping over to Google Maps and searching for whatever you want to choose as your starting location. So I'm going to go for Mount Everest. Why not? And in fact, right there in the URL, you can see the latitude and longitude. If they're not displayed in the URL for some reason, you can see them by control clicking on the marker, clicking what's here, and you'll see the latitude and longitude right there. So I'm going to grab those and copy them into my app. Get rid of the minus as well. And paste them in there. And I should really give that a new variable name. So we'll call that Everest. And then to add a marker in that particular location, we use mmap add marker. And then we create some new marker options. That is a position, which is now going to be Everest, and a new title, which makes a bit more sense. So Mount Everest. Similarly, we now want to move the camera to our new location. So we'll just change that variable name to Everest. So very simple to create a new marker and zoom in on a new location. Let's test that out. We should be able to do it with instant start. And there we go. So we're now centered on Mount Everest. We've got a marker there that if we tap on, we get our Mount Everest label. Super. We can do a lot more than that though. First off, we can customize the icon for our marker if we want to. And we do that by, notice we've got new marker options and a full stop and then position and full stop and title. If we add another full stop, we can add, for example, an icon. And then to describe our icon, we need a bitmap descriptor factory. And then we can choose a range of options there. We can even pick an image from a file, but I'm going to stick with the default marker and then pick a color. And we get the color from bitmap descriptor factory. And then you can see we've got a whole range there. Azure at the top, blue, cyan, green, etc., etc. I'm going to go for orange. So more code than you might think, but actually fairly easy to change the color of the icon if you want to. Let's just see that in action. And there we go. So now we've got a nice orange marker. What if we want to be more zoomed in than this though? We're quite zoomed out at the moment. We can't really see where Everest is, at least on a local scale. Well, we do that by replacing new lat lung with new lat lung zoom. You can see we've got a few other options there. We can use bounds if we want to specify, say, the top left and the bottom right locations of the map. But normally, we're going to want something like new lat lung zoom. And then for the lat lung, we can use Everest. And then the zoom level, let's start at something like 15. And you can see that that gives us a fairly zoomed in view. In fact, the number varies from 1 to 20, with 1 being completely zoomed out, so you should be able to see more or less the whole world, and then 20 as zoomed in as Google Maps goes, so you're actually seeing buildings if you're zooming into a part of the world where Google has that level of imagery. And there we go. So we're now as zoomed out as can be with our map. Right, so let's reset that as somewhere in the middle, say 10. And now for our final bit of customization, we'll see how we can convert the map from just a plain map to containing satellite imagery as well. So we do that using mmap dot and then set map type. In fact, have a quick look there at all the options that you can set if you really want to get specific with your map. But we'll look at set map type, and then we can just put an integer in there, but better to choose one of the options here. And then we've got a hybrid type, none, normal, satellite, or terrain. So I'm going to go for hybrid. And then let's have a look. We should now see basic roads and countries as well as satellite imagery. And there we go. Looks pretty impressive. Wonderful. So that's as far as I think we'll need to go with Google Maps for now. We will definitely be returning to it shortly, but we're going to take a brief diversion into something that's so much connected with maps, and that is getting the user's location.